Greetings, fellow productivity seekers. I'm Garland, Coulson, Captain Time. And today I want to talk about deep focus. I've created this deep focus checklist for you as a way to help you gain that deep focus you need to get those really complex, critical tasks done. So how do you get to the deep focus level? So let's start off with pre-planning for a deep focus session. So the first step is to set aside daily or weekly blocks of time as deep focus sessions, perhaps 1 hour blocks. And I have a separate time blocking video that can help with that I'll put the link in the checklist for you. So you've got a time block set aside, maybe once a day, maybe a few times a week, an hour at a time, so this could be like 5 hours a week, one day at a time, etc. So you got the block of time that you're going to dedicate to being in deep focus. Next step is to choose what is that key project I want to work on. So make a critical project, one you're having trouble getting to, one that's complex, one that requires a lot of focus, a lot of attention, and say, okay, so I've got this block of time set aside and I'm going to work on X. It could be writing that book you've always wanted to write. It could be preparing next year's budget. It could be coming up with a new marketing plan, any of these. But just, set the block of time aside, choose the project. Next is to make sure your workspace is clear of paper, other distractions, things are not going to distract or interrupt you while you're working. Because if you got paper on your desk, you might look at that or your eyes might wander to it. So you want a really clear workspace. If your normal workspace, your normal office, your normal cubicle, whatever you work in, is prone to getting interrupted a lot or very difficult for you to focus in because of all the other work around or coworkers or things like that, book a free conference room if there's one in your office, or maybe they've got focus rooms where people can work. I know some companies have focus pods where people can go in to work uninterrupted. Or go to a library or a coffee shop. It can be a great way to get out of your head, get out of your normal level of thinking, and go somewhere where you can get that deep focus. So we've done the pre-planning. We've got a block of time set aside. We've got a key project we want to work on. Workspace is clear, no distractions. And we've set up our workspace to be clear of distractions and we're not going to have interruptions. Or we've chosen to go to a library or coffee shop during that time. So now we're about to start our session. So what do we need to do to prepare to start our session? Firstly, tell your coworkers in reception you will be unavailable for an hour. Okay, so this means you're not going to be able to be interrupted. You're not going to be able to see clients. You've booked this time that you're unavailable. Turn off your smartphone, and yes, I mean either totally off or at least in airplane mode. If you're going to get text messages or email notifications or social media notifications or any of those millions of things that smartphones can do to interrupt us, then that's going to break your focus. So we want to make sure we're not going to have that. Forward your business phone to voicemails, because if your phone rings, it breaks your focus and it could take 20 to 30 minutes to get back to that same level of deep focus, of deep thought that you had. Close all computer programs, apps, and browser tabs you don't need for the project. So for example, if you're going to write an article, you might only have Microsoft Word open in one window. In another window, you might have whatever web page you're using for inspiration or ideas or things like that. So you're not going to have like 12 different tabs open, news, email, all those kinds of things. Take a few minutes at the beginning of the session to stretch, clear out your mind of your previous project before the focus session so you can start fresh. So you'll move around, come in, okay, get all the other stuff out of your head so you can focus on this. Set a timer like Clockify to track your focus time, or a kitchen timer, or a smartphone timer, but only if the smartphone's in airplane mode. And I do have a video on time tracking using Clockify that you can access as well from the checklist. Okay, so time block set up, chose our project, we're set up so we're free of interruptions, we've started our timer. How do we keep focused during our session? So first off, work only on the project designated for this focus session. Don't get drawn astray, don't get on into other projects or say, oh, I'll just do this first. No, this time is set aside for that deep focus you needed for this really critical project. If it's your first time working on the project, you might go, well, I don't know what to work on. So use the first focus session for planning the project, or the first half hour of it for planning the project. Start creating a list of tasks, organize them by priority, make a list of things that you can have other people delegate, you can delegate to, or they can do research for you and things like that. So work on the planning if you don't know what to do first on the project. If you are interrupted, pause the timer, deal with the interruption, emphasize that you're not to be disturbed again, then unpause the timer and get back to the project. Now, our brains do wander a bit. So if something occurs to you about another project, maybe something you're working on in this project, you go, oh, crap, I remembered on that other product launch campaign, I should do X. Just jot a note down about the other project and get back to focusing on this project. So don't go do any work on the other project. Just jot down the note, the idea, the thought, so you don't lose it, because you want to capture it, because it's probably a good thought, but you just want to make sure it's not going to interfere with what you're doing here. If you get antsy, I suggest taking a 5-minute break after the first 30 minutes, stretch, move around to get comfortable, then restart your timer for the next 30 minutes. And you will be amazed at how much you can accomplish with 1 hour or even 30 minutes of uninterrupted work and deep focus. It will blow you away how much work you get through. And I try to repeat this as many times a day as I can. I really focus on minimizing the distractions. If you need help with this, you can book a focus training session with me. I provide the link for you. Lots of other ways to connect with me as well. I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like and subscribe button to help us help more people. It tells YouTube that this is great content, and so hopefully it'll be shared with more people. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, when it comes to time, it's your time, your choice.
Bizmentum, online business networking, reimagined.